You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/ARTS. Just go to Indeed.com/ARTS right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
If your job at a healthcare facility includes disinfecting against viruses, you know prevention is the best medicine. And maintaining healthy spaces starts with a healthy cleaning routine. Grainger's world-class supply chain helps ensure you have the quality products you need when you need them. From disinfectants and cleaning supplies to personal protective equipment, so you can help deliver a clean bill of health. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
All right, welcome to episode 3 of the reincarnation of Breaking Cardboard, live every other Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. We have a different guest each occasion. I'm going to bring this episode's guest out here shortly, but we got to take care of our sponsors. We'll start with one of my long-term ones, SGC. I don't know what needs to be said. Huge in the grading game, and I've had a relationship with them for a while. So we'll start off by acknowledging
quality,
them.
Consistent, and the quickest turnaround times in the grading industry. We are proud to partner with SGC. Check them out at www.gosgc.com. Experience quality.
All right. So now to bring on my guest. Happy he agreed to join us today. Was looking forward to this episode. And fan of a show, The Shallow End, really collector-based show, which I tend to enjoy more than any. It's not always about the dollar signs, which is, kind of how I try to be. But even though I'm a dealer, I wear different hats. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome out on Iowa Dave Schwartz. Welcome, Dave.
Hey, John. Thanks for having me. This is the perfect way to spend a Friday night, just talking baseball cards, opening baseball cards, no drama. I cannot wait.
Yep. Mookie says Iowa game in New York, John. I've been called that before, not the first time. And we're gonna tonight's kind of theme is our favorite cards from the 80s, guys. And again, this chat room's usually great. Put yours when we're going through each year here. By all means, put your favorites in there. I'll put your comments on the screen as well. We're going to go from 1980 to 89. That's 10 years. We discussed, me and Dave discussed, you're not going to see the 89 Upper Deck Griffey. Not that it's not a great card. It's iconic, but it's almost too chalk. So, you're going to see two different cards when we get to 1989. Along the way, we're both going to rip open a packs while we're live on the air. I got to stay with the 80s theme, and Dave did as well. I got an 85 Donruss and an 87 Fleer. There's some we might pull something we picked out of these packs potentially, and I know Dave's got a couple. I don't know if he wants to surprise you, or I kind of mentioned them on one of my social media. You want to share what you're going to open, Dave?
I'll share one, but I'm also going to keep one secret.
Okay.
The one,
yep,
that's fine. The first one here is I just picked this up at the local sporting goods store. 87 Fleer. I ripped a lot of this back when it came out. I love the bright blue color. It's probably my favorite Fleer design of the 80s. I like the way that we're doing this tonight too. We're going 80 through 89. one favorite card per year, not just Topps, not just Donruss, not just Fleer, whatever, but whichever one that we like. And yeah, it's not the most iconic. Otherwise, we'd have the exact same ones. It's just the ones that we like the most or identify something.
Yeah, and there's one year I'm going to cheat a little bit on, and I'll explain it when we get there. I'll leave it a tease right there as well. Again, guys, it's not about value, although some of these cards will obviously have some value to them. We'll do it snake draft wise, Dave. So as a guest, I'm going to let you go first for 1980, then I'll do one, and then I'll do 81, and then we'll come back and you'll have 2 picks in a row, and almost like fantasy draft, snake draft type. And again, in the chat room, share your favorites from each year as we go through. I'll post them on the screen as well. We'll do 2 or 3 years, then we'll rip a pack open, and then we'll cover some more ground and get to our last pack towards the back 9, if you will. So let's start with 1980, Dave, and your pick for 1980.
Sure. So we just said we weren't going with the most iconic cards, but I did exactly that with 1980. Right. So yeah. 81, of course, is when Donruss begins and Fleer returns, but in 80 it was just Topps. And so I just went with the 1980 Topps Rickey Henderson. I owned it as a kid. I held on to it for decades. And when I got back into the hobby, I graded it. I pulled it out of a screw down and somehow got an 8 on it. I ended up selling it later on. Picked up another one, a 6 that looked just as good as the 8. It is just a beautiful card. That yellow jersey of the Oakland A's, the green and yellow helmet, everything about this card to me is perfect. I love this card. I'm not picking it because of its value. I'm picking it because it is by far my favorite card.
Yeah, you'll get no arguments from me. I kind of, without knowing, I had a feeling you might go there, so I picked a different one. The card I picked, obviously not as valuable, but in 1980, Rickey Henderson wasn't Rickey Henderson yet. And while I was a Yankee fan, unfortunately, I was a Thurman Munson fan, and at that point, he was gone tragically, as we all know. So I wasn't necessarily a Reds fan, but I had to pick this card because I remember opening, 1980s Topps packs and just enjoyed getting this card when I pulled it, right? And it's the Pete Rose, right? He's either around the batting cage or at the top of the dugout watching what's going on, whether it was batting practice or the game itself. Right here you can see he's just a gamer, right? He's just always entrenched into what's going on the field. And, even 8-year-old me at the time knew how great of a player Pete Rose was and great hitter. And so while a Yankee fan, this card was pretty cool to pull. Reggie Jackson, I thought about as well, but I wasn't a huge Reggie guy, believe it or not. And so Pete Rose, I think every kid that played Little League, right, at this era, I'm not saying now so much, kind of wanted to sort of be Pete Rose as a hitter. Just get all the hits.
I love this card. It reminds me of my childhood. When I was born, like a lot of us, Pete Rose was playing for the Reds. But when I started collecting cards, he was a Philly. And so I thought of him as a Philly first. And then as I learned the history of baseball, I thought, he came from the Reds, then the Phillies. So when I think of my earliest memories of Pete Rose, that's what he looks like in that 80 Topps card.
Yeah, if you know me, Dave, and everyone that's listened to my content, I have a thing. It's weird. And maybe it's not as weird as I make it out to be. I had a thing for close facial shots on baseball for Donruss, Mattingly, and another card we might see later here in a few picks. So I guess we're to 81. The 81 card I had nearby. So rather than put up a picture, although it would cover my ugly mug up and be disappointed in that respects, the Tim Raines rookie. I know we got a little glare here, but I know some people don't like the 3-player cards and the 3-player versions. Tim Raines, we didn't necessarily know, he's going to be a Hall of Famer, but we knew he was pretty good early on, and that was a card. Fernando was in the mix there for me as well. But I actually went to some Montreal Expo games, even though I was in New York City. My grandfather, who I was raised by my grandparents, for some reason we made 3 or 4 trips to Montreal for Expo games as well. And I remember seeing them as a young player. Not what he turned out to be, but in the early stages. So that card, again, it's not about value. You can pick up that card. That's a nice thing. You can pick up a Hall of Fame rookie of Tim Raines for probably $10, $20, depending on what kind of grade you want on it. So a couple comments here. How about the 1980 Burger King Nolan Ryan with that orange hat? Yeah, that's a.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/ARTS. Just go to Indeed.com/ARTS right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I stayed mostly with the mainstream stuff, which I know that's sort of like Topps, but I know my Mets guys are going to grill me for not picking enough Mets. 81 Mookie Wilson rookie. Yeah, I don't know. It was this in Valenzuela. Mookie Wilson at that point wasn't.
John, you might be breaking up a little bit.
Okay. All right. Well, listen, it's your pick now, so I don't know if you can hear me, but I'll let you go.
Okay. So my second pick, this is from the 1981 season. I went with the 1981 Fleer card number 346 of Harold Baines. Harold Baines is Fleer rookie. I love this card not because of its value, but it just makes me laugh. This card is so plain. He's got the white warm-up jersey on, the white pants, the pea green background, the pea green bench. This card is so vanilla, so plain, so forgettable, which makes it the perfect representation of Harold Baines. He gets a lot of flack as being the least one of the least worthy Hall of Famers, and it's probably true, but he was friends with Jerry Reinsdorf, and so they pushed him through. But this card just makes me chuckle every time that I see it. Fleer, after so many years of trying and the court cases and everything else, they finally got the okay to go ahead and make baseball cards. And they had they tried their best, and this is what they came up with for Harold Baines. But it is a rookie card of a Hall of Famer. But man, that card could not be plainer if they tried.
Yeah, it's funny. Even seeing the designs to this day, it's like yikes. But that's part of the history of the hobby. They took them a few years. They kind of figured out card designs eventually, but like you said, pretty plain. Even the uniform, you don't see the logo there, but a Hall of Famer, and this is your pick, so I'm not going to argue with it. 81 is not, when you really look at the year itself, it's not a great rookie kind of card year for the rookie class. I know Mookie's going to put a picture of me on his dartboard for not picking the Mookie Wilson rookies. Already kind of said that, but it was a little bit of a tougher year to pick. Like the field was wide open, so you really can't argue with any of the picks because it was that kind of year. You could have went so many different directions, right? So it is what it is there. All right, you get to go again with 82.
Okay, 82. I'm going back to tops. I'm going with card number 90, Nolan Ryan. 1992. No, sorry, 1982 is probably, I'm not going to say it's the worst because everything is subjective, right? But it is probably my least favorite year overall of cards across the brands. But when you have this picture of the Ryan Express rearing back, just throwing gas, you can tell he's going to throw about 100 at somebody right now. Probably going to strike somebody out. I think this is a great image of Nolan Ryan. I love the colors. You've got that fantastic early 80s Houston uniform. You've got the orange cap.
The creamsicles.
The creamsicles. You got Nolan Ryan just ready to fire. The Tops tried. They did a really nice job of trying to match the colors of the card itself and the fonts to the team uniforms. And so for the effort and for the really fantastic photography, this to me is the card I think of when I think of the 82 set. I almost went with the 82 Tops traded Ozzie Smith, his first card in a Cardinals uniform. But I think we'll see Ozzie come up later.
Yeah, and hang on, I'll get to a comment. So Brendan Ryan says, that anyone know the origin of a rule of a regional who can't be pre-Victor? If it comes out to me, and again, at different eras, right? We only had one. If it comes out in the same year as what the regular cards are considered rookies, in my book, not Victor's book, or I'm not sure what I would say. It's a rookie card. Now, we didn't necessarily, when we made this list, Dave, just so everyone knows, they don't necessarily, being rookie cards are like a prerequisite. No. Now, some of our picks are rookie cards. That just comes with the territory, but they don't necessarily have to be. And obviously, an 80 Tops Ryan is not as rookie, but a great card nonetheless. All right, so for me, and I've talked about this too in my content, in 82, you got to remember, for me, I'm a New York City kid, Brooklyn, New York. And in 1982, and I somehow did not put or limits how many picks I can put up. So I don't see this pick that I uploaded, but I'll talk about it just the same. I kind of cheated here, Dave. I didn't pick one card, but where I'm going with this was, growing up in Brooklyn with Tops in my backyard, I was a Tops kid. And I really, Fleer and Donruss, even though they were now out and releasing cards, their designs were so bad that they didn't really register. I didn't open a ton of it. I don't want to say it didn't register, but I didn't open a ton of it. And I kind of stayed true to Tops. But it was in 1982 when these cards came out that made me turn my head and think about someone other than Tops. And that's the 1982 Donruss, the Diamond Kings, the first iteration of the Diamond Kings with Dick Perez. And I didn't want to just pick one of them. So I'm going to cheat and just say the whole series of 82 Donruss Diamond Kings. That was the first time that 10-year-old me said, oh, there's something really other than Tops that like kind of caught my eye. And it was those Diamond Kings. And I've talked to Dick, and he's been on the show, and I told him that story. It's not lip service. It's a true story. And, shameless plug that this Friday, Dick Perez and Mark Evans, the director of the new movie, The Diamond King, will be my guest on the show. But it was that 1982 releases of those Diamond Kings in the 82 Donruss set that did it for me, that said, hey, there's something other than Tops out here in the hobby, and I maybe should pay attention to other companies producing cards. So I thought I put the thing on the screen, but I think it limits what I can, so I don't see it in my overlays. But
John, that's such a great. I'm so glad you picked Diamond Kings. That's the perfect selection.
Yeah, and I didn't do that because they were on the show. It's just coincidence, but the story is true. Like that, I really had. I don't know, blown off is the right, but I really didn't take Donruss or Fleer seriously that first year. And it was those Diamond Kings that made me say, oh my God, look, it's artwork of some of my favorite players. And what is this? It's something different we haven't seen ever. And that's what got me to consider other brands other than Topps. So I went with that. Let me see if my 83 pick is up here. Yep, I think so. It's like you said, same player, but I went with the 83 Nolan Ryan. I could have went, I thought it's Sandberg, Boggs, rookie year, but the Ryan, even 11-year-old me knew, how menacing Ryan was. Nowadays 100 miles an hour from a pitcher, while it's still impressive, not as impressive as it was in 1983. He was really one of the few throwing that kind of gas, and people were scared to get in the box. And I remember this card because just the intent on his face. He's looks like he's kind of communicating with the catcher to get ready, and he's about to rear back. And of course, still with those Astros uniforms with the multicolor and the arm sleeve. And even the inset photo, Dave, like the little round photo in the bottom right, even then he looks like he wants to take your head off or own the inside of the plate. So, as a young little leaguer at the time, who was a pitcher at 11, I wasn't throwing obviously as hard as Nolan Ryan. I kind of wanted to, and this card kind of stood out. I kind of, obviously Boggs rookie, Sandberg rookie year. You can't go wrong, but I didn't want to always just take rookie cards. So I went with the 83 Ryan. So we did pick.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/ARTS. Just go to Indeed.com/ARTS right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
If you work in quality control at a candy factory, you know strict safety regulations come with the job. It's why you partner with Grainger. Grainger helps you find the high-quality and compliant products your business needs to inspect, detect, and help correct issues. And the sweetest part is, everyone gets a product that's as safe to eat as it is delicious. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Ryan's, we skipped a year each. We picked them in different years. So, all right, it's you for 83.
Yeah, I also saw the comment, Mook. I actually didn't pick a McGee card here, but I do have a Cardinal coming up here with 83. And in 1983, I went with card number 540, which is Ozzie Smith. Look how hard he's swinging. And, he's probably just trying to get the ball out of the infield. If this is Ozzie Smith in the early 80s, not much power at all. He had about 7 home runs, right, over his first something like 7 or 8 seasons. But it has that great early 80s pullover Cardinal white pajama uniform. He's got the chains bouncing. He's just hit the ball. The switch hitter this time he's from looks like the left side. He's following through. It's his first regular non-traded, non-update card in a Cardinals uniform. Still has the birds on each end of the bat. Just a beautiful card. And you had the Nolan Ryan up before. I have the Ozzie Smith here. I just want to take a moment to appreciate 83 Topps. I think that was the year they realized they were being pushed a little bit.
Yeah.
And they upped their game. 80 was okay, and had the Henderson, which saved a lot of things. But 81 was kind of, and 82 I mentioned wasn't my personal favorite, but 83 was the year that I took note of it again and thought Topps is doing something different. The colors were more vibrant. You could see it in the Ozzie picture, see it in your Nolan Ryan. They just, competition's a good thing. And, Don Russ and Fleer, they didn't really hit their stride until 84, but you could see Topps was being pushed. And in 83, they upped their game a little bit. I love that, Auntie.
Yeah, that's a great point. That was, I think, that when I don't want to speak for Topps, but I think internally, I think you nailed it, Dave. I think that was the year Topps said, "Hey, there's some new kids on the block. Their first couple of releases didn't scare us, but it's time to get serious because they're not going away. It's like a fight, and they're not knocked out, and they're still trading blows, and they're like, we better train a little harder for this fight." So the 83 reminds me, for you vintage guys like myself, brought me back to the 63 Topps with that circle inset.
Well, they did it again in 03 and 23, so they bring it around every 20 years. Yeah.
And I kind of like that. So I'm a little fond of those circle insets as long as they're done right. So 83, was a like you said, compared to 81 and 82 Topps, they kind of stepped up their game in 83. And while it's sort of similar to 63, it's its own design as well. And it signaled like, hey, we better get serious here. Because there's a couple other companies and cards and pushing us to be better. And so Ozzie Smith, that's a great in-action shot, and of a Hall of Famer. Again, they don't have to be rookie cards. I think sometimes you appreciate it's easy. The rookie cards is sort of the low-hanging fruit. The pick. All right, let's go to 84. We'll make our picks for 84, and then we'll open a pack. So you're up again with 84.
Okay, so I almost went. I didn't go with, but I wanted to go with the 84 Fleer Glenn Hubbard just for the comedy effect of it. That's the one where he's got the boa constrictor around his neck and something happened with the Philly fanatic in the background. He wouldn't sign that card for years, but now he's got a good sense of humor about it. But instead, I went with an update card. I went with the 1984 Fleer update U102 of Pete Rose.
It's a great card. It's a great card. I'm going to say one thing. I'll tell the story after you. I'll let you speak. This set brings up bad memories, but not for the reason you would think. But go ahead. This it's just weird seeing Pete in an Expos uniform.
Exactly. That's exactly what my notes were. It looks so weird. I like that. That's how I remember Pete Rose hitting, right? It's a little slap hit or a bunt, right? Just doing anything he can to get on base. And he actually got his 4,000th hit while he was in an Expos uniform before he went back to the Reds to finish his career. But I love 84 Fleer. I think I found we didn't have a whole lot of it at the 7-Eleven by our house where we would ride our bikes, but found one cello or cello pack, whatever you call it. And, got a few cards, nothing special out of it, but I really loved the design. And between the design and this was Fleer's arrival in 84, right? This is where they announced themselves as being a legit player. Plus him wearing the Expos uniform, being in such a memorable pose. That's why I went. Yeah,
this is a great card. It's weird seeing him in Expos uniform. Again, there's history there. You got the 4,000 and, this set brings back bad memories for me. Not so much in 84, but I had this set, and obviously it's a great set. Clemens and Puckett, first cards. When in my store years, I think it was around 93, I had this set in the back of the store, and I had a silent I had a partner in my store, and then we had another guy. He wasn't necessarily a partner, but we had him where he would take some of our stuff, and he would sell it at shows that he was going to, and that sort of thing. So he was allowed access to the back of the store. And I had my 84 Fleer update set back there, Dave. And one day I said, man, I'm going to check out the stars in the set. And when I opened my set to look at the star cards, they were gone. And it wound up being, I'll make this story shorter than it actually is. It wound up being this other gentleman who had taken them out. Of course, he denied it. But it was me, my partner, in the store full time. He didn't do it. And so I found out it was him later on for sure. I was pretty sure it was when I discovered it, and it was kind of confirmed later on. So it's kind of on my to get list again to add back to my PC, but it just brings up a great set, but brings up a bad memory from my store days, if you will. So. But I won't argue that Pete Rose is a great card, and there really is no bad Pete Rose cards when you think about it. And, I know he's rest in peace, and all the betting on baseball and a little bit of the arrogance, but you can't argue the greatness of a player that I definitely that one. It's funny, when I was writing some candidates down, that made the list. That list for 84 was a long one too, so you could have went in all sorts of different directions. I went with this one. I know I've talked about this card before. People who follow my content know I got a thing for big face cards, rookies, or even not. This is not a rookie. This is a second year. But the 84 Donruss, Tony Gwynn. Again, I apologize for the glare, but
such a great card.
Yeah, it is. In this set, like when you think about the 81, 82, and the 83 Donruss releases before 84, they were bad. And so you didn't expect much from them in 84. I mean, we had the Diamond Kings. The Diamond Kings kind of became more the driving force behind Donruss than the design, because the designs of their base cards were poor. It was the Diamond Kings that were saving the set. 84 was the first time in my book that the Donruss stood alone besides the Diamond Kings, that this design. And to this day, I think this is one of the best looking cards. It holds up. Here we are 41 years later, Dave, and this design still holds up well to me. And even the backs, right? When we forget about the backs, but that teal blue with the white stat box. Back, think about the 80s. We just had that gray kind of cardboard stock, or that sort of dull pink cardboard. This was really one of the first kind of dual color backs. And I went broke open. I've said this many times. I went broke opening a lot of different 80s packs, but 84 Don was real. Like, I was stealing money to try to open it. I'm kidding. I don't want people to think I was a klepto at 12 years old, but I was like,
you were not a klepto at 16. It's fine. Yeah.
I was doing all, hey, Grandpa, can I do, do you need anything done? Can I make a few bucks? I was really, scrimping to the 84 Donruss made me broke. And that card, obviously the Manly was really what I was chasing, but it was Manly and Gwynn. Anytime I could, if I didn't hit a Manly, but I hit a Gwynn, I was okay with that. So get some of the comments here, and then Hodges says, gave the video a like. Hey, everyone. Brendan Ryan says 84 Donruss.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/ARTS. Just go to Indeed.com/ARTS right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
If you work in quality control at a candy factory, you know strict safety regulations come with the job. It's why you partner with Grainger. Grainger helps you find the high-quality and compliant products your business needs to inspect, detect, and help correct issues. And the sweetest part is, everyone gets a product that's as safe to eat as it is delicious. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Is in my heart, great man, and great sets of the 80s. 84 Donruss to this day, when we talk about my favorite design, it's still right there for me. 41 years later, and I love it. So, And I get that Tony Gwynn. I don't know how many I've got. That's one of them, but probably double digits. And anytime I'm at a show and I see one and it's cheap, I just buy them. I don't need it. I just love it. And it's one of those cards. It's not expensive. It's not, you're not buying it because it's going up. It's just, I love the card enough. Like you can't have too many. So I always pick them up. All right, Dave. So I'm going to open 87 first here. Let me see. This was always tricky when I've done this the prior 2 episodes, but I'll try to get it as best. So 87 Fleer.
87 Fleer.
Obviously, Bonds is probably the big card. We all remember this, right? The old team sticker with the team back. We got the Orioles on the full back and the White Sox and the Twins there.
Very good.
And I'll go through them. Roy Lee Jackson, Mel Hall from Port Byron, New York.
Mel Hall,
was a local hero until he got into some trouble.
That's putting it generously.
Yeah. Tim Wallach. Here we go.
Tim Wallach was a really good player. I think he had 2,000 hits in it.
Yeah, he's underrated. Rookie card, Ralph Bryant and Jose Gonzalez. Bob Starter. Got a Rick Manning. Another underrated pitcher. He's not a Hall of Famer, but he was good back in the day. Dave Steed from the Blue Jays.
Oh, Dave Steed, one of the hardest luck pitchers of the 80s.
Yeah.
I used to play micro league baseball, which was a precursor to.
Yeah, I remember that.
And Dave Steed was always one of the first pitchers off.
Yeah. Mariano Duncan, the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Eric Plunk, the other side of the 86 Fleer rookie with Canseco, but in 87. There's a Met. Shortstop, held it down for a few years. Kevin Elster.
She's going to kill me for saying this, but my wife had a crush on him when she was a child.
There you go. Well, listen, it could be worse. Angel Salazar. Gary Pettis.
Oh, speedster.
Yep. Spanky before the Pirates here with the Cards. Mike LaValliere.
Yeah, part of the Tony Pena trade that brought the Pena to the Cardinals.
Yep. Not a lot of star power here, but that's all right. Mike Brown.
No memory
Coming
of that.
down the home stretch here, Dave. Darren Dalton, Phillies legend.
Oh, yeah. Ray Langford once nearly decapitated him at a home plate collision.
Yeah, back when you could do that. Yeah. Right. Mark Thurman.
Mm-hmm.
And finishing up, this was not a great 87 Fleer pack as far as what you'd want to pull, but Ron Renicky, who had a long time. People don't realize how long this dude played Major League Baseball.
He was a broadcaster, didn't he?
I think so. I'm not positive, but I believe so. So there was my 87 Fleer pack. Nothing to write home about, but it's still fun. Still fun to go back and open a pack that's 37 years old. All right, your turn.
Here's mine, and by sheer coincidence, we didn't plan this, but my first pack is also 87 Fleer.
Yeah.
Love it.
I think, listen, if this is Pack Wars, you don't have much. The bar is really low to beat my pack here.
Okay, so I'll rip it, and my lighting's okay. I'll just hold up one at a time. Okay, first sticker, Detroit Tigers. Little stickers with on the back. Narrative action. I thought this guy was going to be fantastic, but he was fine. It's Bruce Ruffin, Phillies pitcher.
Yeah.
This guy ended up having a kid that was a pretty good player. He's got Ken Griffey.
Yeah. I think you won right there. I think
I just won. I got Ken Griffey Sr. Oh, no. Now I won. All
right.
USA Olympic 84 team, stud of all studs, Odie McDowell.
I love, I watched, for whatever reason, I watched a lot of Rangers. I always liked Odie. I don't know if it was the name or just the style of play. I thought Odie McDowell was.
Up next, Hall of Fame nickname, Oil Can Boyd.
Yeah.
Dennis.
And he wasn't more injured than he was just with his thin frame. Who reminds me of him today for the Indians is Tristan McKenzie. Reminds me of a modern day Dennis Oil Can Boyd.
Okay. I'm definitely winning this Pack Wars, by the way. Up next, Hall of Famer Jim Rice.
There you go. Yeah, I'm lost. You're 4 or 5 cards in, and I'm crushed.
Another Hall of Famer, Tony Gwynn.
Yeah, that did it for sure. Another great card.
You're gonna find all this.
Man, now I realize how bad my '87 Fleer pack really was. Like I knew it was, but now it's cinched.
So about an hour after we go off the air today, you can find my eBay store, and I'll be putting all these up. Neil Allen. Okay, so Neil Allen. If you don't know Neil Allen, a St. Louis Cardinal. He was in the trade that sent Keith Hernandez to the Mets.
That is correct.
The Cardinals in return.
He played on quite a bit of teams. Neil Allen.
In return, the Cardinals got Neil Allen and Rick Owenby.
Yep.
So that's my Otis Nixon, who would go on to have a pretty good career with the Braves.
Yep. He was a star too.
Juan Beniquez, good utility guy, outfielder. Rick Mailer.
Yeah, he was in Atlanta for a while.
I could hear the photographer saying, "Okay, Rick, don't move. I want a picture of you looking bored. Just don't move." Chris Brown, good outfielder for a while.
Yep.
He and Chili Davis combined for a pretty couple of good years together in the same outfield. Kent Herbeck.
Yeah, a lot of Braves, though. Not Braves or Braves fans, not a fan of his.
Dan Petrie, pitcher.
Yep, I remember him. He wasn't too bad for.
No memory of Barry Jones, but I love the old Pirates hat.
Yeah, the 3-line like a painter's cap.
They'd be sure he got his jersey number in there, nice and prominent. Jim Traber, 2 more.
Oh yeah, he hit some moonshots.
Yeah. Matt Young had some good years as a pitcher, good, reliable innings eater, and finishing up with the 3rd Hall of Famer out of this pack, Lee Smith.
There you go. Yeah, that pack, man. My pack was really. I think my pack was resealed. That's how bad my pack was. I think someone resealed my '87 Fleer pack. Hey, Ruben, you got to write on your chalkboard. Will not be late 100 times. That's your punished. So, what do we got? A comment about Dan Petrie had a son who played in the M's, played a few seasons. Depends.
That's
I did
cool.
not know that.
Fun fact.
So there you go.
Did not know that either.
Look at that.
All right, so I think you're up for 85, and then I jump to 85 and 86. Finish your season.
Let me pull up my 85 pick here, find it, make sure I got it. Some of them. Oh, yeah, this card. Again, it's not always about dollar signs. It could have went a whole different way. The 85 Donruss, again, those 2 years of Donruss, 84 and 85, Dave, for me were really a sweet spot for Donruss and me, and took a lot of my money out of my young 13-year-old and 12-year-old wallet. And the 85 Donruss is a great set. Again, I'm a fan of the design. You got obviously the Puckett and Clemens rookies,
Eric Davis,
amongst other Eric Davis for sure. But again, at this point I became a Mets fan. But, I had given up my Yankee fandom. Steinbrenner was ruining it for me. People have heard that story a million times, so rehash it. But I had moved over to being a Met fan. But I was still a Don Mattingly fan. While I wasn't a Yankee fan per se, I had a thing in my heart for Don Mattingly, for the way he played. Hard-nosed, quiet, didn't do a lot of trash talking. And if you remember the 84 season, him and this another Hall of Famer, Manley's not a Hall of Famer, but him and a Hall of Famer, and Dave Winfield had a batting title race that to this day is still kind of talked about, and went down to the final game. And Manley had to go 4 for 5 to win the 84 batting crown. And so when I opened 85 Donruss, this card really had a sentimental place in my heart. It's the Dave Winfield and Don Mattingly 2 for the title card, not an insert or parallel or anything like that. It was a base card, but had that. I followed that race intently, and two great players, one Hall of Famer, one maybe should be in it that isn't. That's a whole show in itself. But again, not a crazy at the time. I think
for the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now, and the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
this card was more expensive in 85 than it might be today because people love this card then, but obviously it's come down in price. But this was a card I didn't mind getting if I didn't get that Puckett or the other big cards in there. I didn't mind when this was in that pack. So 85 Donruss, and I didn't go to that last game in 84, Dave, but I know I showed you before we kind of went live. I do have a ticket stub from that last Yankees game. I believe it's versus the Tigers. Yep, versus the Tigers, and Manley went 4 for 5 to win the batting title. So this is on my list to get kind of PSA graded ticket-wise. I just haven't done it yet. I did not attend the game. I just had acquired the ticket. So I want to be, fully transparent. 12-year-old me was not there, but 12-year-old me watched the game from my living room. So have the ticket stub to someone who was in the stadium watching the game. So probably a little bit of a weird one, not a weird one, but kind of different there with that pick. But I tried not to be chalk all the time, and so that one definitely probably not chalk.
Yeah, I definitely went chalk with my 85 card. So for my 85, the 1985 was the first year I went crazy buying cards. I mean, I was always collecting them as I could with allowance money, but as I started mowing lawns and having my own income, that was around 85. And I can remember my parents looking at me like I would get back from 7-Eleven and they would say, "You bought more?" And I did. And it was 85 tops. I liked 85 Donruss, but we couldn't get a lot of those in St. Louis. And 85 Fleer was just okay, but 85 tops was the one. And it was the hunt for card number 620, which was Dwight Gooden's,
Yeah. And at this point,
and that was the one.
At this point, I was a Mets fan.
Yeah.
And I love this card and I love pulling this card. But I like the 85 Donruss design better. So whenever cards came out, I tried to open them all, Dave, but I always opened more of whatever design I thought won the, you know what I mean, in my mind, and to each their own, right? So Donruss beat, and I do like the 85 tops, and I don't get me wrong, I opened plenty of it, but the Donruss I probably opened a little bit more. But yeah, I'm not gonna, as a Mets fan, and anyone that knows, you don't have to be a Mets fan to remember when he first came up, he was just lights out and dominating. And, any collector, you didn't have to be a Mets fan. You were happy if you pulled this card.
Oh, this was the card, right? I mean, this was the card any kid had the chance to pull. And I think I pulled, 2, 3, or 4 of them. It was wonderful. Just a beautiful card. Good memory.
Yeah, no doubt. And, it's funny, even seeing the design again, I don't know if I gave 85 tops maybe a fair shake. I think I fell in love with the Donruss and didn't even give it a fair shot. But the 85, that even the 85 Fleer set wasn't too badly designed. That wasn't a bad design year overall across the 3 companies that were producing cards at that time.
Yeah.
All right, who's is it your turn again? I'm losing track.
My turn. This is my back end of my snake pick. So for 86, this guy, it was a rookie card, and this guy had rookie cards in a few different sets for this year. And I went with an update set. It's the 86 Fleer update U14 of Barry Bonds. And I'll tell you why I like this card. Love this card. I know that if you were like an investor type person, that you would want to get the 86 Tiffany tops traded, right? But I look at this card and I think, okay, so the frame is modern, but the photo itself, this could be a 1957 tops card. The way this image looks, it's just a throwback image of what was then a modern player, and it's you got the pullover jersey, the batting practice jersey. He's got the wristbands on, that great yellow helmet with the black bill. This is my favorite Barry Bonds rookie card. It's the only PSA 10 that I own is this card, because I just wanted to have it centered and clean and the 86 tops is fine. The 86 Donruss, the rookies, not my favorite design, but this one just seems like the timeless Barry Bonds.
Yeah, no doubt. And regards to what you did, I hate to say it, but one of the first things I think when I see this card is like, look how skinny he was.
Yeah, I know.
Like, listen, I'm just gonna be honest.
But it's before he started really exercising and hitting the weights. and just eating lots of protein.
Yeah, working out hard.
Working out hard.
Listen, I've said this. I don't like people who use performance enhancing, but Barry Bonds was a Hall of Famer before HGH. That, I got to give credit where credit's due. I don't know. I don't think very few people can argue that. It's kind of sad that he went that route because that's kind of the first thing we think of. And this is kind of an under the radar card. Like you said, everyone thinks about the 86 Topps Traded and the Tiffany version of it. And this card, to have it in a 10, Dave, this card, you look at the color. I know it's not black borders, but these borders chip too, like just because they're not black. So to get a 10 in this, probably not. I don't have the pop important for me, but still a nice card. And listen, regardless of the history, Barry Bonds was a great player. That you can't. Maybe not a great guy, but a great player, and won't argue with this card. Mine. I really felt guilty.
John, you're breaking up pretty good there again, buddy.
Jeepers, I don't know what's going on. All right,
there you go.
All right. I don't know. Bad audio today, but so this card I really felt guilty picking, but I almost felt like I had to because this thing was, in 86, people were like trying to kill each other to get this card. And now 14 years old, I'm starting to amass my collection, and this card was kind of big. And I'm not a Canseco fan, so don't take me picking this card as an endorsement that I'm in the Jose Canseco fan club. But if you were collecting in 86, I could just cover up the name and the rated rookie logo, and you still know what this card is. That you could cover up the design, and you just see this card and that just barely on there mustache that he was rocking. Right, this card is classic. It is iconic. I know we tried to not necessarily pick just iconic cards because it's been chalk. But this just card in 86, even more than the Bonds, really, Canseco was sort of getting more buzz at that point. And this card was just a big deal. And again, this design, I liked it more in 86 than I kind of do now. But that 84, 85, and 86 Donruss design-wise weren't too bad. So for me, and I was just starting to I did my first show a year later, and so this was a card, and I was kind of just trying to get ready to be a dealer at 15 years old, as that might sound, even all these years.
Maybe John, can you maybe try taking the card off the screen and then see if that's better?
Yeah. How about now?
Yeah.
Everyone... Yeah. All right. Well, listen.
Can you try taking the Canseco off the screen? See if that helps.
Yeah, I did. Oh, I might be froze. All right, we lost Dave. I don't know. Maybe I don't know if it's me or Dave. Those out there listening, is my sound bad to you too? I'll get to. All right, Hodges says up front. So unfortunately, it might be Dave. Here, let's bring him back.
Hi there.
All right, Hodges is saying it's fun. It might be.
Might be me.
It might. Yeah. All right. Well, that's all right.
I feel shame. Great shame.
No. Well, that's the thing. I can tell sometimes when my internet's bad because the bars will be at top, like kind of warning. So I didn't see that. So I'm like, now I'm bad without. It must be. Ruben says, I'm not gonna lie. I thought it might be the glasses running interference. So, but all right, now I'm. Is it me coming back down?
Yes, you for 87.
All right, so 87. Well, we both. I'll let the cat out of the bag. We both picked the same card here. So let me put it on this, and we can both kind of chime in. And to this day, people still love this card. It's one of those type of cards. And two-sport player, great in both sports. Just injuries took their toll. But again, this is a card. Even 37 years later, it's not crazy money. But the minute I seem to get one in my inventory at my shows, they don't last long. And that's the 87 Bo Jackson rated rookie. And I'll keep my spiel short and sweet here, Dave, and let you take over. But just a classic shot. Looks like he's just following through on throwing the ball. Like you see the muscles, bulging out of his arm sleeves. Like you could tell by looking at this guy, like you didn't want to mess with Bo you know, and just an incredible talent, and you know, definitely like a guy you pay to see play, and that's football too. But in this case, we're talking about baseball cards. So 87, you know, rated rookie. Again, 87 Donruss, not my favorite, but I didn't dislike it either. But just a great card of Bo Jackson. But kind of your insight here. We picked the same card, so.
We did, and you mentioned some of the things. The first, sorry about the signal thing. For whatever reason, it's fixed now, but my computer was connecting through my hotspot on my phone instead of the Wi-Fi, but it's better now.
It's happened to me too, so all good.
Look at this. This is the way athletes look today when they've gone through like CrossFit and all this intense training. This is not how an athlete was supposed to look in 1987. He was an elevated human physically, right? You know, but plus the way he's throwing the ball, it almost looks like he's just having a catch out there in the outfield, the Field of Dreams. He looks so young. Just a wonderful card. It has the iconic rated rookie symbol is there as well. It's my favorite image by far.
And they stole that from Rated Rabbi. So him.
I know. I don't think that spin rag got a single royalty out of it either.
Yeah, look, you know, the one thing I never really thought about it until like Bo Jackson, he didn't smile a lot. Even like he'd hit a home run, he wasn't a big smiler. I read his biography, which is a great book. And he talked about his struggles with stuttering. He was actually a pretty shy guy and a kind of introvert guy. So even when he made a great play, whether it be defensively or offensively, he wasn't very demonstrative. I was probably more demonstrative on the football field. And even then, he just went about his business and was kind of low key. But you also knew how great he was and how strong he was. I mean, I think at the time when he struck out and he just broke the bat over his knee. And if you're familiar with wood bats and have used them, as I have, I tried to do that once like an idiot, right? I'm sure I didn't even put a crack in it. That to do it and snap it like literally like a toothpick just tells you how strong of a dude he was, and just the intensity, right? He just struck out and he just broke the bat. Like that's not working for me. I'll try again with a new bat a few innings later. But just incredible talent, and I just you know, when I think of Bo Jackson, I think of that intensity, and then I think of, you know, what could have been had he, you know, not gotten hurt that he did, or, you know, what if he even concentrated on one sport? You know, what if he had just stayed with football or just baseball? You know, and, you know, he could have still got hurt. I'm not saying that would have been the answer, but I think we wouldn't have looked at him as the legend he still is for not being a Hall of Famer in the NFL or the Major League. We almost feel like he is. Like until you say he's not. Like until you say he's not in those Hall of Fame, you don't really think about that. Just because he could have been based on the talent. So yeah, 87 Bo. That was the only one we both picked the same, and probably a good reason for that. So I think it's you on 88.
That coming back for 88. When this set came out, I didn't know what it was. And I would read. I had a subscription to Beckett, just like so many others, but I wasn't plugged in. I wasn't a dealer. Obviously, I was a teenager. But it's from the 88 score set, which was the first score set. Card number 645, Greg Jeffrey.
There we go.
You mentioned creamsicle earlier for the Astros uniform. That's what I thought of with this card. So his 88 Fleer and Donruss cards were pretty similar in that they were just sort of these profile picks. But this was one that was actually he was in the field. It looks like it might be a spring training shot. I'm not sure. It could be. That's when a lot of these pictures were taken. But when you have that plus the just that bright orange border that nobody had ever seen anything like before, and it didn't really catch on. Like, you know, when Score came out, it was a novelty. And then, you know, it wasn't until they rebranded to Pinnacle around what's in 93 and 94 that they kind of found their stride a little bit. But when I think of 88, there wasn't a whole lot that stood out. And so I went with the brand, and then I went with the player as well that we were all hunting at that point. You know, Mark Grace probably was one of the better rookies for that year in hindsight.
Yeah.
But Greg Jeffries that's why this card's
He was the cover boy. He was on the
Yeah.
cover of Beckett's. He was on the cover of other like just sports magazines. Like he was like the great white hype, so to speak. And I tell you, as a 16-year-old kid, Greg, and as a Mets fan, Greg Jeffries, people who listen to my stuff know my fondness for Greg Jeffries. I told you I had to this day, I had 3 binders of Greg Jeffries rookies in my garage. My wife tried to have me throw them out, and I couldn't make myself do it. It hurt, and they're still there on the shelf collecting dust, Dave, but I can't throw them out. I can't. It brings back too much nostalgia. And, we talked kind of about this before we went live. Look at his final numbers. I'm not saying Greg Jeffries is a Hall of Famer, far from it, but his numbers might surprise you to how good they actually are and what kind of career he had. The problem was, and we talked about this, Dave, was the hype. That hype was so massive that there was just no way he could live up to it.
It was impossible. He never could have lived up to that. There's nothing he could have done short of having a mantle-like career for him to fulfill that sort of hype that was heaved upon him.
Yeah, no doubt. It was just that the billing was too big. 88 score was, man, still to this day was, really butt ugly. They had a lot of the purple, the maroon. You could see him from a mile away as just plain Jane. The backs were better looking than the fronts. A lot of errors, though. I will say that one of the scores, what saved that sort of set was all the errors in it. And in 89, there were some more errors. Some of them had to be intentional. Paul Gibson card comes to mind that they used that photo with the runner at second grabbing his crotch. And so not a great release. And listen, I don't know if Ruben's still watching, but I usually say Greg Jeffries once per episode. It wasn't me this time, Ruben. It was all Iowa Dave. So he took one for the team. I didn't have to do it. And
the first time I attended a national, the first card I bought was at a trade night because I got there later in the day. So the show was closed. I went straight to a trade night. It was an 89 Topps Greg Jeffries that some guy just had sitting out.
That's a great card. That's a great card.
It is, but it should have been out. It should have been. Tony's right. TJ is online is right. That card should have been out in 88, not 89. Topps missed the boat.
Yep. Stuke says that he was in the American Legion World Series in Fargo in 1983. Roger Maris came to town at the event. And Tony's going to go with Steve Jeltz as a great 88 scorecard. It's a great 88 score Steve Jeltz card for sure. And so Ruben, I'm off the hook. I did not start the Greg Jeffries stuff. It was Dave's fault. So you can't grill me.
Ruben John asked me to do it. No, I'm kidding.
But I'm honestly, I almost picked it for my 89 card, but I didn't do it. One last comment about this: Greg Jeffries was a great contact hitter, and he had a routine where he swung a bat underwater to increase bat speed. And at 16, I was playing high school baseball, and I went into my high school swimming pool and was swinging a wood bat underwater. And the gym teacher, not the baseball coach, came in and said, basically, what the hell are you doing, Newman? And I had to explain to him I was trying to increase bat speed. And he's like, I don't think this is a good idea. I can't let you do it. And he made me get out of the pool with the bat. So there you go. That'll be the last Greg Jeffries story I will tell, at least tonight, if you will. But I was trying to be Greg Jeffries at 16 years old in 1998. Or 88, I should say. All right. This time we got one more pack to open. I opened first last time. Didn't do me any good. I got the worst 87 Fleer pack in the history of 87 Fleer pack. So I will let you do the honors on our last packs here.
Okay. I'm really excited to share this pack with your audience, which is just terrific. I won this when they had what they call it, National Baseball Card Day or whatever, a while back. My LCS had raffle. Everybody put their name in a hat or signed up, and I won this. And I was waiting for a fun time to open it. I was going to bring it to the National, but when you invited me onto the show and wanted to open packs, I thought this is the perfect time to do it. I have never opened a pack of this before. I've bought some singles, but I've never had a pack. So I'm about to open a pack of 1984 Donruss awesome. Baseball. Right?
The series
15
that
cards. Mattingly is the dream. Gwynn would be great. Ricky Henderson cards are also. I love the Henderson card out of this as well. This Ryan Sandberg has a nice card. Lee McGee, of course, would be a fantastic one. You really can't go wrong with this. Maybe a Joe Carter or a Sid Fernandez rated rookie.
I will say this: if you pull a Tony Gwynn, you gotta let me buy it from you. That's all I'm gonna say.
Sounds good. I like a 412% of comps. Is my
I'm wishing you a PSA 10 man lead.
Okay, so I'm gonna open this now. First one. All right. Well, first we have the puzzle. Duke Snyder was the puzzle of this year, of course. All right. So here we go. Let me save that wrapper. First, Andre Thornton. Name of the night.
That design.
Yeah, apparently name of the night, Dan Petrie. I'm going to go for the whole Dan Petrie run, I think, after tonight.
You're doing the PSA Dan Petrie. I don't know if anyone else is doing it, but you got the market.
Dave Beard, ironically.
Without a beard.
Without a beard. Mark Hill. I love 84 Donruss. Let's appreciate the back here of the card. The full name, Mark Kevin Hill. Oh, Warren Brewster. Brewster. I was never quite sure how to pronounce his name. Oh, here's a guy, pure 80s guy. Len Barker.
Yeah, he threw a no-hitter.
Yeah, he was solid. Thrower. He was solid. Mike Torres. I'm laughing because I just saw what the next card is.
Uh-oh.
It's not a good one. It's a funny one. It's fine. Hall of Famer, and I deserve this for making fun of him earlier in the night. Harold Baines.
There you go. I didn't realize till there's a lot of close facial. That's why. Besides the design, I just
yeah. Fun fact about this Harold Baines card: he is smiling.
Yeah. Maybe he knows he's getting in the Hall year already.
This was Harold Baines when he was excited and when he was sad. His face never changed ever. Chet Lemon.
Yeah, he's another guy. Little scrappy guy, still stole bases. He was pretty good.
Tony, I'm going to send you this Harold Baines as a birthday gift.
Bring it to the National, and you can give it to him for
another guy. You think you pulled him in your 87 pack? Gary Pettis.
Yeah, man, he's everywhere.
He is. All right, Alan Bannister, solid player.
Yep.
Love the C on that old Cleveland helmet.
I remember him as a Texas Ranger as well.
Odell Jones, Texas Rangers.
Yeah.
I think we're striking out here. Onyx Concepcion.
Yeah.
Oh, I spoke
to this one as bad as my. Well, you got Harold Baines.
I just got another Hall of Famer here.
Here we go.
Cal Ripken.
Yeah, that's a great card.
Nicely centered too.
There you go. There's a candidate. It's a candidate.
There we go. And lastly, solid pitcher. A number of years, Steve Rogers. Good player.
Yeah, I think he had over 200 wins. He played a while. He was like the ace there for many years. So
yeah. So totally worth it just for the Cal. I'll put that up one more time.
There you go. That is a nice card. All right. So my last pack, different year, but a year later, 85 Donruss. Maybe I should hold it right side up. Maybe I'll pull that card that made my list. That Manly. That would be cool. I'm not gonna lie. If I pull that card, I haven't pulled that card since 85, somewhere in that range. That would be cool. Puzzle piece. I forgot. I think, or no, Lou Gehrig. All right. Let's see. Again, love the 85 Donruss. Al Bumry, longtime Oriole. Larry Gura, longtime Royal. Here's a Cardinal. Ricky Horton.
He's the broadcaster for them now.
Yeah. Diamond King. We got Willie Upshaw. Astro. Terry Poole for him. There we go. Tiger Legend. Lou Whitaker.
Oh, sweet Lou.
Here we go. Andy McGaffigan, Reds pitcher. One of my favorite baseball names. The immature part of me will come out with this guy, but it does it to me every time. Rusty Kuntz. There we go. It's my prerogative to pull a Bobby Brown 85 Donruss card. There's another Cardinal. It's the Cardinal pitching pack, Dave. Speaking of Dave, fellow Dave LaPointe.
Dave LaPointe.
I remember this guy, Joe Cowley.
Oh, yeah.
All right. I don't know if Mookie's still here. There it is. 85 Donruss Mookie Wilson.
Oh, yes.
All right. Now, I think he was pulled early in one of the other packs, but I'm not sure. Aurelio Lopez. This was another guy who you don't realize how great he was or good he was. Base stealer, leadoff man, had some pop. Brett Butler.
Brett Butler was. Never mind. I was going to say a trivia question, but I was wrong. Never mind. Cut this part out.
No, that's all right. And Ozzie Virgil, he was a guy here I saw at Syracuse. He back end of his career when he was trying to hang on, he's in the Blue Jays and he played some games here at Syracuse at AAA. Not a great star power pack, but still love 85. You beat me on both packs. That's not a great showing on my end pack wise here. I think I got to do my 88 because I see I still have the picture. I won't spend a lot of time. We're working a little over. 88 Barry Bonds. I love, I kind of, when the 88 Fleer first came out, the design, I wasn't sure what to make of it, but it grew on me and I kind of like it. It's got that patriotic feel to it with the red, white, and blue, kind of the stripes kind of being broken off by the photo itself and then continue on the other side. And this card was just, a young Barry Bonds early in his career, thin, smiling. His hat size was a little smaller than it eventually became. But I got to take my shots when I'm done. But sorry, Barry. He's probably going to come to my house and beat me up. But I found the 88. 88 was a tough year. I think, I don't know if you agree, Dave. It wasn't a great rookie class.
When you're talking yourself into Mark Grace, that's when you know it's not the best year.
Yeah, I wasn't like Mark Grace was a great hitter. I just wasn't. I don't want to say it wasn't on my radar. I knew about it, but I went with the 88 Fleer Bonds. We got one more year. I think it's my turn to go, kind of the snake wise. I won't spend. Listen, everyone knows about this card. I have it kind of in person here, so I'll put it up. This card is still talked about to this day. The 89 Fleer, Billy Ripken, F-base card. People still open 89 Fleer to try to get this card. People still, anytime, this is one in my PC, but anytime I have it in my show inventory, it doesn't last very long. Even the other versions, Dave, even like the saw cuts and the black box and the black scribble, people like those too. It's just a talked about card all these years later. And listen, Billy Ripken was no Cal Ripken, but he's probably talked about more than Cal Ripken in some respect, just because of that card. So I know it's got a bad word on it, and I don't swear on my shows, but my wife probably knows. That's a good way to put it. I showed that to my wife, and she doesn't follow the hobby. She almost knows about that card. So in '89, that was my first year I started doing shows at 7, and so it was almost every 10 times a show, someone would come up to my table and say, "Do you got the Billy Ripken?" That's all. All I had to hear was, "You got the book," and I knew what they were going to say. That's just a classic card.
Yeah, I went to a show in Des Moines sometime late last year, late fall, and someone had that Billy Ripken card, graded in a PSA 9 or something like that. And I saw the price. I thought it was way overpriced, and I just rolled my eyes and I walked away. And I walked by again a half hour later, and someone had bought it. That card is it's eternal. It just goes forever.
Yeah, I mean, even the wax now, it's like under normal. I mean, you get Griffey's in it too. Griffey's rookie year, but very few things can overshadow a Griffey rookie, and that card did it, and somehow because of obvious reasons. Not the 89 Upper Deck Griffey, but it out of Fleer. Like, how many times you see someone open an 89 Fleer cello and pull a Griffey and say, "Man, I didn't get the Billy Ripken." So yeah, that's saying something. So it's just an iconic card, whether you like bad words or you don't. Made history, and again, people that brought interest from people not even directly in the hobby. That brought some outside interest, and it was really in my wheelhouse of me first starting doing shows at 7. And so that was a card I tried to get as many as I could to sell because I knew I was going to get asked, do you have it? Do you have it? The problem was anyone that had them didn't really want to sell theirs. So I had to open. Listen, 89 Fleer is not a great looking card. But I opened quite a bit to try to pull the Ripken and obviously Griffey and Sheffield and others as well. But the Ripken was like the coup d'etat if you could get one of those. Yeah. So, all right, enough rambling on about that card.
So take us home.
So, yep.
All right. So my last card is 89 Upper Deck, but it is not the Griffey. It is the other rookie. I kept opening packs trying to get the Griffey. But instead, I kept getting this other card over and over to the point that I think I had between 10 and 15 of them. And it's card number 13. It's the Upper Deck Gary Sheffield, 1989.
And it didn't upload. It didn't upload because I think I put too many pictures. But that's a classic card in its own right. Most people are familiar with it. There's the error too.
Yeah, it's the error where they put the upside down SS. And
yeah,
and I became a fan of his just because out of necessity with how many cards of his I was pulling. He lived up to the hype talent-wise, but of course he bounced around a lot to different teams because of his personality and whatnot. But he's on the Brewers. I really like pictures of cards that have players sitting in the dugout, whether it's the 53 Bowman Stan Musial or there's a nice Stadium Club variation of Ohtani sitting in the dugout, the 2014 Mookie Betts variation, he's in the dugout. And then there's this 89 Upper Deck Sheffield, which is just a lovely card. And of course the photography in that whole set was revolutionary at the time. I just finished reading Card Sharks, that mid-90s book about Upper Deck, so I think I have it on the brain a little bit, but that's the card that I think of after the Griffey when I think of that set.
Yeah, and I'm glad an 89 Upper Deck card made the list. That was really kind of opened up that door to premium cards. Later on, we got the 93 Finest Baseball, and it took off kind of from there. But 89 was, the first high price pack, if you will. And obviously the Griffey, that release brought people into the hobby. People I think most people realize that, but 89 Upper Deck, people came in to chase the Griffey and other rookie cards, and that was kind of an iconic release. So,
and of course, they then reprinted the set, right, and kept putting out more. And then,
there's the Griffey. Contrary to popular belief, the Griffey is a short print. There's only a limited amount out there, so get them. I'm kidding. For most people know I'm kidding, but just in case. But as crazy as it sounds, like for as many Griffies as there are, still a very demand. Another card that when I'm setting up at shows, I just can't keep them in stock. And even lower grade ones, I've sold even 6s and 7s. And people still. It's a lot cheaper, so it's a nice way to pick it up and have it. And so I never have that. Anytime someone says, "Are you buying?" and I look at their stuff and I always try to acquire it for the inventory. I mean, I have some for myself. There's one behind me here, a PSA 9 that my big body's blocking, but I always try to pick it up for my show inventory. We're gonna get one more commercial in here, guys. Pay the bills here, and then some final thoughts. And I appreciate Dave coming on and spending some time with us and just going back in nostalgia. So hang on one second.
Hi, I'm Isaac Alpert, a longtime card collector and the co-founder of the Penny Sleeve. My wife and I started the Penny Sleeve with a simple premise in mind: to offer collectors top quality supplies at fair price. We offer a full range of hobbies and we'll get them to you fast. Whether you're looking for a 200-point magnetic for that oversized pack or a slew semi-rigid your next submission, the Penny Sleever has you. Shop now at thepennysleever.com and use the promo code SCNation to get 10% off. That's SC for 10% off at thepennysleever.com.
Great supplies. I use them. All my submissions to SGC go through their semi-rigids. I use their magnetics, their top loaders. So not just shown. I use their products, and like you said, you heard the code, 10% off. Isaac does a great job, and it's tough to get in that arena with some of the big boy supply companies, but he's fighting a great battle. So great products at a little lesser price. So that's always important. So there you go. Well, Dave, this was a lot of fun, and you beat me on both of the packs. If this was Pack Wars, it didn't beat me. I think you slaughtered me. Is more like it. It's fun to go through the years and not only talk about the cards we picked, but the cards even we didn't pick that we brought up in the discussion. It was real fun, and I think we'll have to do this again. A couple months down the line, maybe we'll do the 90s edition. I think it'll get a little tougher too. Even in the 90s. So, we were both a little older then, and I was definitely in my heyday in my store days and show days. So, I appreciate you coming on. I know it's been a bit, but go check out the Shallow End. Dave keeps it real. I love it. It's not always about dollars, which I think sometimes shows. I'm probably guilty of it myself. Sometimes we talk about the dollar aspect sometimes too much, but you don't do that, right? It's about collecting what you enjoy, the stories behind the cards and the journey in acquiring some of those cards. And look forward here. We're getting close to the National here, a couple months away. So every day we're one day closer. So I wasn't sure it was going until about 3 weeks ago, Dave, but I am going. So I'll see you there. Maybe we'll have to buy some packs together. I try to save some face and get some redemption because it didn't happen today. But fun. It's still fun, right? Just opening those packs when you haven't opened them in long. And like your case, you never opened an 84 Donruss pack.
Yeah, so, I never saw one. Never even saw one.
Yeah, I was kind of living through you and just remembering, 40 years. That's how old I am, Dave, as I remember opening those. So, well, thanks again, Dave. And, you're going to be on with Jeremy Lee tomorrow. So we'll check that out as well. And thanks, everybody in the chat room. So we'll be back with this show in 2 weeks. So 2 weeks from today, we'll be back with this show. And shameless plug, Dick Perez and Mark Evans will be on Sports Card Nation a week from today. I don't know if you want to plug anything, but go ahead.
Every Friday, a new Shallow End drops on Spotify and on Apple Podcasts. So check it out. Thanks.
There you go. Friday's the big podcast day. You got Sports Card Nation, Shallow End. They both start with S's. So Shallow End is first in the alphabetical. Listen to that first and listen to Sports Card Nation second. All right, guys. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Dave. We'll see you next time.